we start, just know this isn't going to be an easy watch.
Can't see because of your tail. Oh, what's wrong, pretty girl?
She hadn't been groomed in months because handling her turns into this. This is Kalani during the first week of her 6-week board and train. And it doesn't stop there. Showing aggression towards other dogs. Biting my apprentice. And even redirecting onto me. This isn't just one bad moment. This is a pattern.
There you go.
But patterns can change.
That's a good girl.
If you know what you're doing.
Because we had told you that she is e-collar trained.
Sure.
She's been trained 2 different ways.
Okay.
When she was 5 months old, she went to a 2-week board and train. And
With who?
Was it? No, it's not off leash. It was
Unleashed Canine.
Integrity.
Integrity Canine?
Yeah.
Were they like a franchise or something, or?
I think they were very small, family one. The trainer was Aaron Scarborough. I don't know if you know that name.
I think I've heard of Integrity Canine before, but.
Integrity Canine.
I was
Okay.
wondering why she views some of the obedience over it.
She does.
She's pretty good.
She knows it. It's just whether or not, you know what, fuck it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
That's her whole attitude.
So she got a 2-week board and train with the
She got a
e-collar.
board and train. The way he trained her, low level stem. Her working level was 4. He said for distractions, when we had her out on walks, we could go up to 8. Over a period of time, 8 didn't do anything. 25 doesn't do anything. I had that bad boy up to 50, and it didn't do anything.
And was it the mini educator?
It's the mini educator, right?
And you only had the long contact points, right? He didn't give you any of the
Now,
special ones?
He had what he had on her were the wings.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how she was trained low level. The second trainer, he had her on the picture that we sent you, the longer course.
Yeah.
And her working, he said, to start her at 25. And then the way that he set the buttons up, the top button was just one stem only, and then he set the second one as continuous. And then, of course, on the other side was tone. Tone, she's been trained to, when she hears tone, she comes back immediately, which was great. She heard that and she would race back to wherever it was where we were standing. We didn't trust her enough to have her off leash. She's never been off leash. We just don't trust her.
Except in the backyard.
Except in the backyard.
Where she's contained.
Right. So yeah, 25 was her working, and it would depend on what the distraction was, whether or not she would pay attention to that.
Okay.
And if you went too high, she'd respond like she did, snap around. She'd get pissed off. She'd snap around and try and bite.
And honestly,
if it was too high.
The day I saw her do that to him, and it's probably my own fault, I probably did not follow through. That's the day I started using it less and less, because I never wanted her. Because I figured, okay, if you learn to do that and you know I have a control, I'm not going to have you whip around. So
No, there was clearly miscommunication going on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I was following somebody ever since I started following you, all of a sudden I get a lot of content
yeah.
from dog trainers, and that's the reason I brought the question up about low level stim because, yeah, eventually to get any kind of reaction, you just have to keep going up and up and up. And for me, that's not gonna work because when you tell her something and she doesn't do it, I want the stim, I want her to understand there is a consequence to when you blow me off.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
And so this is, I kind of go over this in levels of correction, right? In the
Yes.
diagram in the training guide. If the dog is behaving at a level 6 and you correct at a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're desensitizing her to the lower levels of correction.
Right.
And then you're gonna have to make the jump to a 8, 9, 10. And you're always gonna have to operate up here to get the dog to listen, right? So this is where the dog is at a 5, I go to a 6 and I bring the dog down. If I have to go to a 7 or an 8, I do that as well. Then the dog knows where I'm willing to go to, so then I can just correct at lower levels because the dog knows where I'm willing to go to. Does that make sense? So if I'm willing to go here, when you do this, then when I ask you to stop, stop because it benefits you more because the next stop is here.
We call sometimes those lower level corrections nagging. That's
Right.
what it can do. And when you nag the dog, you amp them up even more and
Right.
make them more over aroused, and
You're just pissing them off, like you said, right? So how did training her in low levels of stimulation prepare her for the moment you used a high level of stimulation? The answer is it didn't.
And that's why she flipped out.
Right. So I prepare the dog for high level stim by teaching them in certain contexts, right? And then we operate in low level stims. If that doesn't work, we go back to high level stims. So then it's a consequence, right? Now there is, the e-collar is a multi-dimensional tool. Some people just use it for corrections, right? Negative reinforcement, which is the low level stimulation training that you've received. We train that for recall. We train that for place, right? So if the working level's a 4, on a level 4, I'm gonna continuously hold. I'm gonna tell her to place. When she gets to place, yes, I release the stim and I follow through with reward. She now made the stimulation go away by committing to the place command. It's the same thing with recall. I hold the stim, I tell her come. When she commits to the recall, I let go, yes. When she gets to me and sits, I reward, right? But when she's acting a fool, when she's redirecting at a dog, when she's doing this, doing that, and my verbal correction is not enough, and I know that my physical leash correction will send her into that spiral that she does.
You've seen her do that?
Oh yeah, she did it to me the other night. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, she is. She's a little cunty.
She is.
So this is where the combination of the e-collar and the directional guidance of the leash are going to help. Because I'm gonna correct her on the e-collar. When she starts with the BS, I'm gonna guide her with the leash and correct that. And eventually she'll stop or do something different, and then that's when the correction will stop. If she starts again, it happens again, right? Now this is theory. This is how I plan to use the e-collar. How she reacts to it is gonna dictate, the end result there.
Because that's my fear, is she'll start redirecting.
Right.
Right?
And we've gotten to the point now with, like, you've seen her bite Kevin, you've seen her bite me, going after the dogs in the crate. This is a daily occurrence. It's gotten to the point now where she'll still do the loop of behavior, but we do nothing. We just stand there. She'll go through the little loop, like go to the dog, do the thing, turn around like she's gonna bite, and then she'll just go, oh, nothing's happening, and then just move on. Without any correction.
Interact with the dog either?
Right.
Sometimes she'll self-correct too. Sometimes she'll commit and then just be like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
So she's learning.
Yes.
Very slowly, but she is.
With her, it's just very autopilot, right? Like it's almost an involuntary response that just happens. And then when she's in the moment and realizes, she self-corrects. But there's like a 1 to 2 second delay there.
Yeah, see, and that, when she bit my friend, and when she went after her, I keep saying it, and I know it upsets her, but it's like a switch gets flipped, and she has no control over it. You look at her eyes, and she's not there. But then, bang, all of a sudden she's there, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah. And the silver lining is that progress has been made, right? I'm not saying that to say this is a crapshoot, right? But this is something we're going to have to live for, live with, sorry, right? We're gonna have to manage this and we're gonna have to understand it. So at the end of it, you know, I want you to see her progress today, see where she's at, notice the differences, right? And then we can talk about moving forward what it looks like, right? But as it is right now, she's been here, what, 2 weeks, going on 3? 2.5 weeks, right? And in the 2.5 weeks, just with rules, structures, boundaries, not letting the behaviors work, we've seen improvements. On the same side of that coin, we still see the same behaviors occurring, right? They're just not as intense, not as frequent, more easily predicted, right?
She's not committing to her behaviors at all. Like, she's presenting the impulse, but she's really not committing. That's what's different.
And some of the things she still does to Kevin, she doesn't do to me, right? Like specifically in the kennel, where you're saying like she'll shark around.
She'll shark around and show me teeth, and I just hold my ground, and then it goes away, and then I release the pressure and I back off.
Yeah. And with me, she'll go in, turn around, and then just look up at me. And I'll be able to go in, unclip the leash. I can adjust her collar. I can do all the things. She doesn't try to bite me anymore just because she's learned her lesson, right? She did it that one time, and then it didn't happen again.
Yeah, what do you do? I'm just curious. What do you do? You just stand your ground?
So it's a balance, because I do want to punish and correct the behavior. However, if the punishment isn't adequate to the dog, that can make the dog double down and be more aggressive with you, right? So a lot of the times, just not allowing that bite to work. Like when she bit me in the video I sent you, I didn't do anything. I don't think I did anything. I think I just kind of got her away from me, and then that was it. Even when she's put teeth on me, like as the second she felt my skin, she stopped, right? And then with you,
She has gone for it. It was whenever I had her in the box and I was doing the settling technique. She went for my forearm and then just kind of stopped. It was like such a half-ass. It was almost an impulse. It was her impulse to put her teeth on my forearm, and then she got here and stopped. And I was like, oh.
That's the involuntary, right? It's muscle memory at that point.
Yes.
And then she catches herself, oh, this doesn't work anymore. So again, there's progress being made, and she is learning. It's just 2 weeks versus 2 years, right? Like the math isn't adding up just yet. And so where we are today, this is the report you're getting. It doesn't mean in 2-3 weeks from now we won't get better or, you know, make more progress than we have.
I guess that was one of the questions that I also had. Does it feel like 6 weeks is not going to be long enough for her?
Well, so if we decide to go with the e-collar, I was going to recommend we extend it to the 8 weeks like we had originally discussed, just because, yeah, I mean, the 6 weeks, it's going to be enough to get through what we originally discussed, but we need 2 weeks for e-collar conditioning. Now, I know she's already e-collar conditioned-ish.
We haven't used it in a while, but I guess it's not something you forget. She'll know what that sensation is, but it's the way that she's been.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
And we're also we're not gonna order the mini educator. We're gonna order the boss, which is, yes, we're gonna get the boss, because low levels isn't gonna cut it for this dog. Right. And I would much rather you have a safety, right, of the e-collar and using it punitively that way, rather than leash popping and risk you getting bit again, right? But again, this is just 2.5 weeks in, right? I don't know what it's going to look like 4-6 weeks from now. I think I know what it's going to look like, right? But things can change. And so, yeah, that was going to be the other conversation. I wanted you to see the progress first, but we're here now, so we'll talk about it. Yeah, if we do the e-collar, I think extending to the 8 week is going to be beneficial. Because if not, I'm going to be rushing after week 4 to try to get it in within the 2 weeks. And I don't want to rush this, right? But I also don't want you to commit to something that you're not comfortable with, right? So I want you to see where she's at before we decide yes or no on the e-collar and the extra 2 weeks, okay? Because if you don't see any improvement here and you're like, this is the same or worse, then okay, yeah, let's not do it, right? But if you go, oh, I like this, I like what I'm seeing, this is what we're looking for, okay, then we're heading towards the right direction. today you're more in a observational role, just observing.
Right.
Tomorrow we're going to do hands-on where you're going to be handling and things like that.
Okay.
So just take a deep breath. The pressure's off you today. Okay. I'm not just going to throw you in the deep end and see if you can sink or swim. Okay.
Oh, the fact that she's doing this shit with you, that pisses me off.
But it also took her 2 weeks to get to that. She didn't do that week one.
Which was interesting.
She didn't do it week one. Yeah, it wasn't until week 2. She got comfortable. She's like, okay, I get it. I know it.
What I think happened with both of our previous trainings, they were only 2 weeks.
Yeah, the board
Oh.
train, the other thing with the 2-week board train, she came home, all the freedoms, right?
Right.
There was no
Structure,
any
no.
30-day reset
Right.
when she came home.
Right. And that's because your trainer's likely focused on obedience and the
Yes.
e-collar and not the behavior and the education. Right. And so again, that's why this is so different, because there are things we're doing on the back end. It's not just training her to sit or place or come. It's understanding the behavior, why it happens, what's motivating it, and how to work her through it.
Yeah, and in that 2 weeks, he never saw.
Oh, yeah, he didn't see
You guys have seen
what you
those,
have seen, because he never put her in those positions, right? He never put her in those positions. Once he got through a training session, where did she go? Right in the kennel or the crate,
Right.
right? And he made her settle. He got her to a point where she
And
was
again,
settling.
he was only focused on
Obedience.
Right.
place,
Right.
sit, come.
And the problem with that is, in the absence of orders, what does your dog default to? Right? And your dog defaults to anarchy.
Right.
So this is where we address behavior and then work on obedience separately from the behavior. Yes, I want her to know good functional things to do and listen to my commands, but I also want her to know how to act.
Right.
Right? And most
and work through stuff, right?
right.
Conflict resolution.
Without using her mouth,
Mhm.
right? That's her default, is she uses her mouth. And then the frustration, working through the frustration, that stuff with the leash makes me nuts. It's
Right.
like, what is your problem? And then you don't dare reach in to try to untangle her because she's all, riled up.
As soon as she realizes it doesn't work, okay, that's all you have to say. But if it continues to work,
She continues to
try.
Right.
She's
Okay.
one of the more strong-headed dogs I've had.
She's just very.
It's not the first time we have had someone tell us that.
Dogs are opportunistic predators. You give them an inch, they take a mile, right? And that's very much the case with her. So,
My biggest question is, because I don't think her elevator goes to the top floor.
yeah.
And is she actually going to be a good dog? Or is she going to be a threat, a continual threat for the rest of her life?
Look, I don't think, as it is today, I don't think she's a threat. We've lived and dealt with far more riskier dogs, right? Like Finn, he's a threat, right? Her bites are so half-assed, and I know that you've been punctured, and I'm not taking away from that, right? But as she is right now, I don't see her as a threat. I see her as just this big, dumb, goofy dog that just, is having issues understanding what is okay and what is not okay. And I don't want to make her innocent in all this because it's a problem, but I also, she's not that serious. And that's the silver lining here. If we can kind of get over that hurdle of being scared of her and afraid of getting bit, which is a big ask. I know what I'm asking you to do, right? But if we can get over it and you can see that when she goes to throw that haymaker, it's just a little squeaky tickle. Oh, you're a little bitch. Then it's much easier to work with her and live with her, right? But if you're, doubting yourself or you're insecure about it and you think she's going to kill you, which you've expressed before, right? Then that's a different way you're going to handle the situation. And so the reason you're here is because we're going to put her through all the things and see if she does it. And if she does, you'll see me correct. And if she bites me, you'll see how I handle that, right? And then hopefully that gives you some confidence, because seeing is believing.
Right.
At the end of this, it boils down to, what are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to live with? And that'll answer your question for you, right? Because I'm willing to live with this dog as is. Kevin's willing to live with this dog as is. But I don't know if you are, right? That's an individual thing. we do see good in her, right? Like she's kind of a cool dog sometimes, right? You know, there's a little sweetness there. But it's hard to come back from those things because you do have to rebuild trust, right? While you're establishing respect.
And I guess that's the other thing. She's already figured out what she can get away with things that she can get away with. So how, one, does that ever go away in her head? Oh, it's mom, I got this. Or based on what she's learning here, if I follow through the exact same way, will she realize, oh shit, I guess I can't get away with this with mommy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same way. So I establish authority, I lend the authority, he lends the authority, right? Because like my wife groomed her. She didn't do anything to my wife. She was fine for the
Was
bath.
that one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've done it.
Stunned.
We've done it twice now.
No way.
Yeah.
I was stunned.
Yeah.
I thought for sure. It's like, holy shit.
Now we did muzzle her, right?
Right, yeah.
Just for safety. And there were moments where like she growled a little bit and kind of moved.
She's like, yes, please, help me.
Why I haven't definitely got muzzle punched.
You good?
Yeah, it was good.
That works too. But she never came at us. She never tried to bite. There was no nastiness there. It was just kind of her like, okay. Now, it could have been that she realized we were helping her, right? Because she started to feel better. Because the first time we did it was when she was going through that pooping issue.
Right.
She had a rough first.
It was rough. And it's just stress and, now her stools are great. She's, there's nothing wrong there. I think.
She's eating? Is she eating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is eating?
Yep.
Okay.
It just took her a week to adapt.
Okay.
Yeah, she had a rough first week, but the second week, the crate anxiety went away. Her stools went back to normal. She's drinking.
Yep.
Doing great.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and we're just starting to make progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So this is why I'm saying, like, yeah, it's not great, but it's better than it was. Right? I will say she is, at the very least, dog reactive, if not, I hesitate to say aggressive, because once she gets there, it dies almost immediately. With actual aggression, when they get there, it escalates.
Okay.
So I think it's more of a barrier frustration thing.
Yes, because the dog next door, it's small. She can see through the cracks, it racing around. And of course, that prey drive is like, oh, I gotta
Right.
get in there. And then that dog jumps on their fence, which
Yep.
causes her to jump on our fence, and it's like a total nightmare.
Total shit show.
Yeah.
Total shit, yep.
So, but it is the barrier frustration.
Yeah.
The guy
So-
next door, when he was there with his two dogs, including a
Doberman.
Doberman, he actually had to put up 4x8 sheets of plywood against his wood fence all the way around.
Because they were eating the
that
fence.
dog, and that's before we got there,
Yeah.
before we moved in.
That's
But
crazy.
They would put the two dogs out in the morning when they went to work at 7:30.
Yeah,
and
and-
leave them there
And leave 'em
all
there.
day.
That's the problem.
That sucks.
That's just a dog that's understimulated, bored, right? No wonder they get frustrated. You're just observing. I don't care if you look at her, but if you notice you looking at her influences behavior, just look in the mirrors, right? That way you can still see what she's doing without making eye contact. Can you also grab my gloves? They're in the basket as soon as you walk in.
So I can't hug her or pet her?
No. This is not a big happy family reunion.
Okay.
And I know that
You
sucks.
know I miss my dog, so.
I know you do. But if you're going right back to doing the same exact thing you would have done.
No, you're right.
Right? So you asked, how do you change? You can't make another first impression, but you can make a second impression. And that's going to be the lasting one. Right? So you're no longer who you were. You have to now be who I'm telling you to be. You have to be Daniel. Channel your inner Daniel. Once
Which I can.
Right. But not out of emotion, out of
That's the other thing I was going to ask you about. A lot of, when she has pushed my buttons, I am so angry and frustrated, I just want to pick her up and throw her again. And I don't know how to be a leader and not feel that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When I started working with aggressive dogs, I learned that one of us needs to have the clarity to pull the other one through, and it's not going to be the dog. Right. Has to be me. So you decide.
You're right.
Right? Do you want to be emotional and let your emotions get the best of you, or do you want to be clear and effectively communicate to the dog? Because at the end of the day, she's not doing this out of emotion. She's doing it out of genetic instinct, habituated behaviors, or just things that have been developed and conditioned through lifestyle. Right? And when you look at it that way, it's much easier to make it black and white. Thank you, sir. So, who has Kalani become?
Yes, who has she become?
She's still in the process of becoming it, but right here, what you see, this very puppyish behavior. You see the submissive pin back ears, kind of how she responded to me during the evaluation. Right? So she's becoming better. I don't really quite have, because the context is a little bit different in the way I stated that in that context was more direct because it's apparent. With her, we still don't know, right? Because you still have this pushy behavior. So the first thing we're doing here is just settling, right? So we got the settle box here next to us. This is a behavioral expectation. When I'm not telling you what to do, just lay down and be a good girl. This kind of also goes back to the point of I can tell her to sit or down. So you see what I mean? I'm not reacting to it. I can tell her to sit her down, but that's not going to teach her how to regulate. So now she's demand barking. Now she's offering sniffing, avoidance. And so what we're doing here, we're allowing her to vent, right? I'm allowing her to go through all the emotions. If I correct her right now, she'll likely escalate. The point is not to get her to bite. The point is not to, squash or suppress the behavior. I want her to understand that the behavior doesn't work. If she comes at me or she does something that I deem inappropriate, then I will correct her for it. So now she's appeasement behavior. She's trying to negotiate. You see how she's doing the big dramatic jumping? And she is mouthing, but she's not trying to bite me. This fur, come here. you put it on the right way?
The peak.
Yeah. So there's that, throwing the head back. No, you didn't. You put it on the other way. Oh, bite it. Can you help me here?
Think so?
No.
Other way?
Yeah, like that. Just put it. No, the other way. There you go. So, do you see what I mean by doing nothing? Right? All I'm doing is I'm just countering when I can, not letting her escape or avoid. And she becomes this helpless dog that just is confused and doesn't know what to do. Because left is right, up is down, red is blue. So right now, her expectation is to say hello to you. Her expectation is to say hello to you. So if I allow you to say hello, we reinforce all of this. So now this is where I also, I talk about, is the dog inherently aggressive, right? There's aggression as a mindset and aggression as a tool. And so with us, she knows that the aggression as a tool doesn't work anymore. If she was inherently aggressive, just aggressive as a mindset, there's plenty of opportunities, especially when we were switching the collars, for her to bite. She's not doing that. And we're definitely telling her to stop doing something and not allowing her to do what she wants, which before would have yielded a bite, right? And there's really no way to positively reinforce this, right? There's no way that I can give her a reward when she's acting up this way. So this is something that we just have to kind of wait out, correct as it develops or it increases, until she just accepts, right? So when she finally goes, all right, this isn't working, and lays down and takes a deep breath, good girl, I'm gonna put her away. I'm gonna let her decompress, think about what just happened. Then I'm gonna bring her back out and we're gonna do it again. That way you can see rep 1 versus rep 2. That'll tell you whether you're making progress, staying the same, or getting worse. But do you see what, like, ears pinned back, puppy in, whining? This is who she becomes when her BS doesn't work. And so right there, when she's throwing her head back, if I were to correct that, that could escalate into her biting me now. So they're cheap shots, but she's not even connecting. It's very half-assed behavior. And so I'm not gonna suppress the dog's behavior. That probably was the worst one there. She caught the leash. But this is just because she's getting frustrated, and the only way she knows how to resolve the conflict is through these behaviors, right? Now you start to hear the yawning, stress yawn, stress panting. Quiet. Enough. And I also keep her away from me. Like, you see she keeps trying to touch her body, because if she can feel me, she doesn't have to look at me, right? You see her inching forward, so that's not it either. So it's not just the physical action of laying down, right? The behavior needs to match. The mental and behavior need to match. And so that's manipulation. Big stress yawn right there. But you see her posture starting to lower, you see the intensity starting to drop, right? She's doing mental gymnastics. This is very exhausting for the dog, very, very stimulating. So she's laying down, doing the sploots, that's fine. I prefer when a dog rolls over onto a hip or just shows me some level of comfort, because this is gonna be more difficult to get up out of than if she's like this, right? This, I just have to pop up. If I'm sitting like you, I have to uncross my legs, get up, right? Good, good. I understand. But how well did she do towards the end, right? When you didn't say hello. She finally accepted. She's like, okay, because did you see it was that laying down and looking at me was very intentional. It wasn't just pulling the slot machine to see if she hit the jackpot. It was, okay, this has gotten me success in the past. Daniel, what do I do here? You do that. Now I put her away. I wait for her to settle in the crate. What's happening here is she wants to get to you, but the manner in which she's doing so is not appropriate, right? And so I'm not going to reinforce that by allowing her to get to you. Well, the next best thing is getting the hell away from here, because this is just too much for me. I don't want to be here right now. If I can't get to them, I don't want to be here right now, right? So, okay, well, how I just rewarded her by putting her away, because it's what she wanted in that moment. Does that make sense? So in that moment, after she realized she's not getting to you, she can't have you, the next best thing is get me the hell away from here, because the temptation is just too much, right? So I gave her the relief she was looking for by putting her away in the crate, but she had to lay down and give up what she wanted first. Reinforcement is not always giving affection or praise or treats. Sometimes it's just allowing the dog to do what it wants. That's how you got here, right? And correction isn't always giving the dog a correction. Sometimes it's just not letting the dog do the thing it wants to do, that's what I did the entire time. I didn't allow her to escape or avoid. I didn't allow her to go to you. I didn't allow her to manipulate me. I didn't allow this, didn't allow that. When she threw her head back like she was gonna bite, I didn't react, right? And then I got what I wanted. And so it's layers. Right now she's throwing a temper tantrum in there. I'm not going to let her out, because that's what she wants. And so she has to focus and calm herself before we move on to the next exercise. So now by the time she comes back out for the next rep, how mentally exhausted do you think she's going to be?
Oh my God.
And also chipping away at all the things she wants to do, right? Because you may have tried this before, but maybe you allow her to get up and go over there. Maybe you allow her to go behind you. Maybe you allow her to switch to the other side. I'm not allowing any of that. Nope, 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 do what I want. Nope, 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 do what I want. Yep, that's what I want, good job. Now it's on my terms, my conditions, not the dog's. Without being a dictator, right? I'm not sitting here smashing her into a down. I'm just not allowing her to do all these other things. And that's the main difference between behavior and obedience. Obedience would have been lay down or else. And now I'm adding more conflict to an already stressful situation. Because I either have to allow her to disobey me and continue with the bad behavior, or I have to correct her into compliance, and now I'm escalating the situation.
Then you're making it a challenge.
Exactly. Because that's how she responds. She's quiet. Stress shake. And notice the patterns, right? Goes forward, goes back, snaps the head, goes forward, goes back, snaps the head, lays down, crawls forward. So already less intense behavior going forward, less vocalization, still very stressed and anxious, stress panting, stress yawn. Cold shoulder there, do you see it? So when I say cold shoulder, that's just avoidance, right? Like, all right, I just won't look at it. But we don't run away from our problems, which is why I want the dog facing front. I don't want her thinking moving away is what solved the issue here. Sniffing, avoidance. So this is, when I point to sniffing out and I say avoidance, it's just telling me she's not really accepted yet. She's still trying to figure out how to have her cake and eat it too. It's a false positive, right? Where it looks like the dog's complying, but really they're just, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. Right.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's scratching too is the same thing as sniffing. If you ever ask your dog to sniff or to come and then they start scratching, it's because they don't want to.
Again, going back to demand barking. So that's the Sphinx position with both, both hips are up like this. And you can tell who she's staring straight at, right? So now imagine I would have let you pet her. Quiet. So this is about as soft as she's gotten. Big stress yawn. And I just want to wait for a little change in demeanor here. We're almost there. Still stress panting. Boom. Good. A lot less correction as well. So you're clearly emotional. You want to talk about it? It's okay if you don't, but it's important for me to understand where you're at mentally.
I know she's crying because she wants to say hi.
But is that all she wants to do?
She wants her way. She wants to get her way.
But this right here, this is part of the issue. You feel for this dog, right? And I'm not trying to hound you on your emotions. They're valid. But she's not, like, does it hurt you to see her go through the stress and anxiety? Does it hurt you to see her get corrected?
The corrections, I don't have a problem with that. Her crying.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Mm-hmm. But it's, those are cries of desperation.
I know, and that's what's, when you're a
She's not in
mom,
pain.
when you're a mom, you just want to make that feeling that she has go away, and you do that by giving in. And I get that, I get that, I know that's what it is. And it's hard to take emotion out of it because it's 3 weeks, I haven't seen her for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. But you notice how now as you're ramping up, she's ramping up too. So she's feeding off of that, right? And it's okay. I want you to feel the feelings. I'm just making observations, right? The only way out is through. If you think about any time in your life where you've accomplished anything, was it easy peasy, lemon squeezy? No. It was hard as fuck. You were uncomfortable. You had to sacrifice things, right? I didn't get where I am today without a little blood, sweat, and effort, right? And it's going to be the same thing with her and you, is you're not going to get to where you want to be unless we can get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because I don't know what it looks like from that side of the couch, right? But on this end, it's uncomfortable handling an aggressive dog that could potentially bite me. But am I going to let that stop me from trying to save your dog's life and get progress that you want? No, that's why I do this, right? And I'm asking the same thing from you, right? You're going to have to, yes, it's hard. Yes, it sucks. You can feel it all you want. But when you get to the other side and you see everything you've accomplished, there's no way you're going to let that go for the sake of petting your dog or saying hello.
No, you're right.
Right?
All I want to do is throw my arms around her, and I know she doesn't benefit from that.
In fact, it adds fuel to the dumpster fire that is your dog's behavior. Because if in this moment, in this pivotal moment of not seeing you after 2.5 weeks, if you would have gone right back and just hugged her, forget about it. That's that dog's death sentence. Because now she just knows I have to escalate to this level to get what I want.
Right.
But she gave us her best. She threw everything she had at it until she was.
We've seen worse, actually. We've seen her try really, really hard.
Sure, but that's with me, right? She threw everything that she knew she could get away with me, right? She knows the other stuff doesn't work at this point because it's failed. And so by not giving your dog really any consequences other than a couple nudges off of me and some guided leash corrections, right? Like go over here. I think I told her to quiet down maybe twice because it was getting to be too much. She didn't bite me. She didn't try to bite me. She threw her head back a couple. That's the involuntary stuff I'm talking about. Kind of like Tourette's, right? Like shit, fuck, just bam. And so I can see that, and I can see that it's not a commitment, right? She's just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Well, guess what? Shit missed me. What do you got? What else? And I don't have to entertain it in order to get through to her. The problem is you try to correct that and you fail at correcting it, and then she doubles down. Does that make sense? So that's what I mean by let her bite you. Like let her do the thing. And when she doesn't get the reaction she's looking for, oh, okay. Right? It's like somebody that tries to tease you, and when you just laugh it off or you don't even pay it attention, they don't keep making fun of you. They go on to the next person that will give them attention. Right? Because that's coming from insecurity. She was very insecure here. Didn't know what to do. What the hell is going on? Right? She's calm again. Freak. And there's layers to this, right? What to do before, what to do during, what to do after. And every layer so far starts and ends with calm, relaxed behaviors. right? You gotta calm down and settle to get put away. You gotta calm down and settle to come out. You gotta calm down and settle to move on to this. At no point does this behavior get you anything you're looking for. None. And if you go to a certain line, if you cross that line, this is what happens, right? But I don't, So right there, I don't know if you noticed, she deliberately put her arm over the leash to get it under her. Because when I went to go adjust it, you saw she was just looking and waiting, okay? So then I'm just biding my time, and when she moved her body, I just slid it underneath the foot. So you have to be smarter than her, you know what I mean? Because this is all calculated. That was very much on purpose. There's that tick I told you about. Do you see it? That's the impulsive that the impulse control we're talking about. When she feels this, she just reacts. Did you see it? I caught it on camera, so I'll show you. Or you'll see it in the video when I edit.
So it's a tick?
No, I'm just using that. It's not. I'm not diagnosing it as a tick, right? But I'm just to give you perspective on it. Quiet. Just an involuntary response. Because there's so much muscle memory there. So now you see it, but she doesn't get the reaction or she doesn't get the correction. And now she's like, oh, okay. So you're going to start to see it happen less and less or less frequently. Less intense.
You mean like, okay, so at the door, right? When she's jumping on the door, and then we tell her to knock it off, and she whips around, that's what you're talking about?
Right.
Because that worked.
Right, because the whip around is her way of telling you, no, I won't knock it off.
No, you don't tell me.
Exactly.
So that's...
Because you would typically follow through with the correction, right? Or you would try to pull her away, and so she whips around prepared for your correction. She's doing the same thing with me, but no correction comes. So now I'm counter conditioning, right? Where it's like, no, you're not, I'm not going to correct you for this. So now she doesn't have to do that little whip around. I will correct her when it's necessary, right? But if I can identify a pattern and I could see the dog is just stuck in a pattern, I have to undo that.
Right.
I can't keep reinforcing it by correcting her.
Right, because she'll just
Keep
doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when you're scared and you don't know and you got a dog that's acting this way and she's bit you before, it makes sense why you would. Because you don't want it to escalate into something worse. But by doing so, it does escalate into something worse. It's like, is it Three Blind Men or Three Blind Mice, though, where they hug the puppy and kill it because they love it so much? What, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I just love this puppy so much. I don't want anything bad to happen to it. And then I squeeze it to death. Right? Good. Yeah. Good girl. Place. Good. Good girl. Place. So, questions, comments, concerns about the settle?
I don't think so.
What do you think? Do you like what you saw?
I didn't.
Is it better, same, worse?
I think because we're here, it's not like helping matters, but again, that's part of
That's part of the process.
Got to work through.
What this is also designed to show you is how your presence influences your dog's behavior. Because she doesn't do this when it's just me and Kevin, right?
Right, because she's dying to come over here.
Right. Now, with Place, what's stopping her from coming over here?
Right.
Not a damn thing except for the expectation that we've set. So this is obedience. The key word here is obey. That's when I say it, not when you want to, when you feel like it, when there's something in it for you. And she's still over there protesting, wanting to come off, right? But she has enough impulse control to not do it. Now, if she does break and come over, no big deal. I'll grab the leash, I'll correct her all the way back. If she does come over, just ignore her. Even if she jumps up, just don't do anything, okay? I'll grab the leash and I'll correct her. But
She's shown this exact behavior when we put her in place. And she
We get the
gets bored with
protesting,
She'll start whining.
good.
vocalizing.
And so here I'm reinforcing, I'm giving her positive reinforcement when she's calm, when she's quiet, when she's not vocalizing or demand barking, right? We're ignoring when she is, okay? So that's a negative punishment. And then we're following through with positive reinforcement. Now even this, how she's kind of hanging a little bit off the place bed, for me, because I know what it's gonna lead to, place. I'll come and I'll address that. Now, one thing I want to discuss with you guys when it comes to basically any of the commands, but specifically this one, I want the dog to understand what happens when you make the decision to come off the bed and do what you want to do. If I'm always sitting there going, no, don't move, stay, place, then when that is absent, the dog will be left up to the opportunity. This is why I have mirrors, right? It's not because I like to look at myself, it's because I can turn my back and act like I'm not paying attention and still see what the dog is doing. And then the second she breaks, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Right? So then it's not just because Daniel's here, I have to listen. It's, no, he has eyes on the back of his head, I have to listen regardless. Right? And this is how you can start to create distance and duration in behavior. And then you can add distractions, right? You can open a door, you can walk out the door, you can bring in another dog, you can do all these things. And so for her, when she's calm and cool like this, good girl, I'll come and I'll reinforce. There you go. So right there was a good moment, right? What was I coming over to reward? What behavior was I coming over to reward? This, the settle, right? What happened when I got there? She popped up. So withhold reward, fix yourself. Okay, now here you go. Now I'm letting her know exactly what she's being paid for, right? It's not just staying on the place, it's settling on the place. So now this behavior expectation we're teaching here, we're applying in the crate to get out, we're applying on place to get off. Does that make sense? Because with the obedience part of it, you can do whatever you want on the bed, except get off. But I'm not going to release you until you're settled. So that's why I don't care if she stands, sits, lays down, barks, whatever, as long as she stays on there, right? Now, if it gets to a point where it's too much, then yeah, I'm going to address it. Hey, quiet, right? But as long as she stays on there, I'm chill. Once she settles, then I'll come over and I'll release her, or I'll come over and reward her, or whatever, right? Whatever it is we're doing. Questions, comments, concerns so far? Good girl. Yes. Okay, so now the expectation here, when it comes to visitors, if I know they're coming over in 15, 20 minutes, I'll take her out, potty break, get the pee and poo out, right? I'll come in, I'll settle. So that by the time they ring my doorbell or knock, she's already in a relaxed state of mind. Most dogs are gonna bark when they hear somebody's at the door. That's quiet, interrupt the pattern. She'll look at you, maybe offer a sit, right? Good. Place. You walk over to place, tell her to stay, go answer your door, your guest comes in, have a seat, how you doing? She's on place. Wait for her to settle here. Once she's settled here, the next layer, bring her, like I did with you, right? Bring her in front of your guest, have her settle next to you. At that point, once she settles, you can put her away, you can tell her, okay, you're free, or you can have her interact. That just depends on where you're at, how much you trust the dog, and whether or not the people here are gonna respect your rules, right? For me, at least initially, I would just either put her away in the crate or just let her chill there till she falls asleep, then maybe put her away in the crate, right? Because the less she anticipates saying hello to people, the less this will be a problem. That's the problem now. She's anticipating going to say hello. Right? And so if it's somebody she knows, somebody that she's interacted with before, you're gonna get a lot of that anticipation behavior.
When people see her, they normally want to go up to her and
Sure.
touch her and,
Yeah.
and give her the attention.
Yeah.
They naturally want to do, because she is so pretty. Oh my God, what a fluffy dog.
Sure.
They don't help matters.
Right.
Right?
Right. This is where you're the
Right.
handler.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's how you become a leader. Hey, leave my fucking dog alone. I know she's cute, but she'll bite the shit out of you. Sit down, let's talk, right? You don't have to be as direct as me, right? But you can just, hey, you know, I understand you want to say hello, but she's got certain protocols she has to follow. If we don't follow those protocols, she's a bite risk. Unless you want to get bit, I recommend you just ignore her. Simple as that, right? So again, she's still kind of, you know, she's doing good, but she's not there yet. I'm waiting for a true calm settle. I'll put her up. We'll recap and talk about things, and then maybe we'll do it one more time. But do you see how it's already 12:11, right? I know we talked probably a good 15, 20 minutes before we brought her out. It's been almost an hour, and really all we've done is 3 reps of settle, 1 rep of place. That's how long it takes her to regulate herself when she's this stimulated.
Right.
Now, continue doing this over the course of the 6 weeks to 8 weeks, it's gonna get exponentially better. Because another thing you're dealing with is a hormonal imbalance, right? So what that means is in moments of conflict, when there's a want and a need, cortisol dump, dopamine dump, and it takes a long time for her to get back to center. She's still not grounded, right? And so this is where you have to really have the patience, work her through it, get to the cause and effect of this exact situation, and then teach her what you expect from her, right? Once she understands the expectation, it's easier for her to make a good choice or a good decision. If she knows A leads to B leads to C, she's not going to do G, right? She'll do A, B, C. But if A leads to Z leads to F, then okay, I'll do what I want.
Right. Yep.
That's it.
My bad.
Free. Free. Good girl.
Putting her in the crate after she successfully gives you the behavior that we're looking for. Putting her in the crate allows her to
Decompress, process what just happened, and structure.
That's what I'm processing.
Right.
I can remember, because our first trainer had said that after exercise, after a training session, he said he would always put her in the crate for her to process what just happened.
Right.
And he didn't really explain to me what he meant by that, so I just,
But now you're seeing it.
now I'm seeing.
Because, and the reason I know, the reason I can tell is because when I put her away, she was one way. When she came back out the second time, she was a different way. So I can compare rep 1 to rep 2 and see, okay, we're getting there.
Right.
Because there's less correction, the behavior's not as intense, it's not lasting as long, it's not happening as frequently. The last 3 times I put her away in the crate immediately was trampling around, vocalizing. This time I put her away, she was quiet until you started talking.
Right.
And then now she's quiet again. So I'm listening, and these are all context clues that are telling me whether she's getting it or not, right? So, and the crate is, it's like if you ever played video games growing up, you beat the boss, you got to save your progress. Because if you turn the game off, you got to do it all over again. So if we did all of that for the last hour and a half, and then I go, okay, you're free, go say hello, and she jumps up and bites the shit out of you, all that was for nothing. But if I put her away in the crate, I know she's safe and sound. I know that she can't do anything bad, and that eventually she's going to calm down and settle. And then that also makes the crate a positive place. It's a decompression chamber, time away from you, time for me.
Right, because she can't get to me. She can't get to the thing that she wants. So it causes her,
She has to work it out in
she
there.
has to work it out.
She can't break out.
Right.
So okay, well, what else can I do? I can just lay down. I know how to do that. And again, we're compounding on the settling behavior, where she has to settle before, during, after.
Right.
That's the root of all issues is impulsivity and her inability to self-soothe in an appropriate way. Questions, comments, concerns?
And it reinforces behavior out here. When you chill out, you do get a reward.
Right? You get to come out. You get to be with us. You get to exist. Right? And that's the thing, is when you start to shift your perspective and understand positive reinforcement isn't always a treat, affection, or praise, right? Just like a correction isn't always yelling or physically correcting. Sometimes it's not allowing the dog to do what they want, taking away the thing that they withholding reward, right? And when you have all these other ways of communicating, now it makes communicating much easier, right? Versus before, you just had a black and a white, which was really just a gray area. Because sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white. But now this is the way. This is A leads to B leads to C. Cool, calm, quiet, collected. I'm gonna bring her back out. It's to have a block of instruction free where you're doing multiple reps and you're getting, good outcomes. Kalani, place. Good girl. I mean, do you see how, she's offering me that? All I told her was to get on the place bed. Good girl.
Because she's learning, okay, what works.
Right.
She's learning, okay, what works.
How many times do you have to run into a brick wall before you decide running into a brick wall is not a good idea? Do we feel better now than we did when we started?
I still want to say hi to her. I mean, it's my dog.
Mm-hmm. You'll get to handle her tomorrow. You'll get to say hi to her in a different way, right? Because tomorrow when you sit in this chair and you try to do all these things, she's gonna do everything you saw her do to me times 10. And then you let me know whether you still want to say hi to your dog or not. Because all those emotions are gonna come back. She's gonna piss you off. Knock it off. Good. So that was an extended correction, right? Where I'm looking at her. You saw she was going through it, and then she's like, all right. And then she fixed herself. Good. But that's respect. She knows I'm not playing around. And it's not it's not intimidation, it's not overcompensation, right? It's just I'm very, very matter of fact. And it's just feedback. I'm guiding her because I understand in this moment there's something impeding her logic, whether that's overstimulation, over arousal, impulse, history, whatever. Something's getting in the way of her doing the right thing. Well, let me give you a little help. What's your next move? Because I know mine. Okay, that's what I thought. Good girl. Does that make sense?
I mean, she is that way. She can be that way with Bill. She knows he's not fucking around. Because the next thing, if Bill has to yell, she knows she messed up. And I know he hates it when I say, please don't yell at the dog.
But how effective has it been with her? I'm not doing it because I'm angry. I'm not doing it out of frustration. I'm doing it because it's guidance. It's feedback. Hey, knock it the hell off. You're annoying me.
But see, this vocalization that she's doing right now, she does that at home, and she'll be in place, and we're trying to watch the TV, because her bed is in the living room, and she'll do this, and it's like, will you shut up?
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what we do or say, she won't shut up.
Well, because ultimately you cave, you give in, and you cater to what she wants. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Here, she'll do this until she loses her voice box. I don't care. I'm not going to give it any attention.
That's why she gave into the crate too, because she had to accept it. She had no choice.
There was no option. I'm not going to sit here and supervise you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to have to go in the crate when I'm sleeping. You're going to have to go in the crate when I'm not working.
Right. Does she do this vocalization with you all the time? No, it's only because we're here, and she can't get to us.
Yeah, this is not normal.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not normal, okay.
Not, that's why I said it's your presence is influencing this
y'all
behavior.
missed the variable for this behavior today.
Right.
But this is great for you to see because when you have guests come over, you're going to be me, they're going to be you. You're going to work her through it the same exact way. It doesn't matter that it's the guy she's known her whole life and likes. It doesn't matter that it's the guy she hates. It doesn't matter who, right? The expectation is the expectation. The rules are the rules, and I'm going to be consistent with that. So the quicker you comply, the quicker we can get on with this. Because ultimately, I do want to let her say hello to you, just not like this.
Right, yeah. No, I agree, because she'll just do it this again, right? Exactly, she'll just keep doing it because she knows it gives her what she wants.
Exactly. And so I'm, periodically I'm going over her when she's being good and calm, and I'm giving her a reward. And it's not just corrections.
Right.
You have to give both sides of the equation, right? But she's got to deserve and she's got to earn the reinforcement.
Right.
If not, she's going to take it for granted. The dog is used to giving minimum effort for maximum benefit, right? So now you have to give maximum effort for minimum benefit. All of this for this tiny little piece of hot dog. And you'll like it. She does. But, good girl. And it also helps remove food as a distraction, right? Because dogs they hear this and they go, oh, impulse control, right? Food's not yours. Food is mine. I'm allowing you to have it. So, this is pretty settled, pretty good. Free. So, did you see that? So she looked back, thought, knocked that shit off. Thought, and then just impulsive. She put her my hand in her mouth. There's the impulse again.
Is that from frustration? So when she's frustrated, she's learned to do that?
Correct. It's from the history of her being frustrated before, right? What she's done in other contexts. And so here it's she has our relationship. Knock it off. Our relationship is different. It's who's the teacher, who's the student. So she's not comfortable doing that with me, which is why it's so half-assed. With you're the student. She's the teacher. So she's very comfortable. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the camera caught it. I'll show you. But she put her mouth right on my hand. I felt the wetness of it. So there she got humbled a little bit. That's a good girl. Good.
Did you see her mind working? She was literally working her mind and she was going through things. Last time I put the leash in my mouth, it didn't work. She looked around and was like, there's nothing else I can do now. And then boom, she laid down.
Right.
That's acceptance.
Yeah.
So when I say dogs find clarity in the consequence, that's a visual representation right there. Because she had already gone through everything else. You, me, Kevin, this, that, her, him, what. And then she's like, oh, it's the fucking leash, right? So then when she put the leash in her, and I waited, right? She was like just kind of sniffing and licking, and I'm just like, nagging. When she put the leash in her mouth and I popped it in her mouth, that's when she was like,
Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
is this what you want?
I think
That's
that was
what
her last card that she had.
Yep.
And it didn't work.
It's a lot. Are we mentally stimulated yet? Yeah. Now imagine doing this 2, 3, 4 times a day all week. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You only have to worry about your dog, okay?
But is she learning?
You tell me.
Well, she is so much faster, so.
Just now, she worked, as Kevin said, she worked, you could see her mind going, do I do A? Do I do B? Do I do C?
Right?
Oh, wait, none of those work for me.
That was a light bulb moment,
Yeah.
And D, me laying down and shutting up
right?
was the right choice to make.
Right. Because before she was laying down, but she was inching forward. Or she was laying down, but she was turning away.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This time it was in place. Okay.
And she went through A, B, at least for me, she went through A, B, and C in her mind, as opposed to going, let me try A, let me try B, let me try C.
Right.
And
Instead of
finalizing
keep trying
on B,
shit.
Right.
she worked through it in her head.
She actually thought about it.
D
Yeah,
is,
see? Yeah.
D's the right answer here. At least that's what I.
And like you could literally see her brain move, like her head's spazzing, right? It's moving, her nose is going, and you can see that the thought train is going. And then that moment where she just goes and accepts. That is what we're looking for. So that is probably the best she's done. We haven't been in a situation like this that's comparable, right? But that is.
But her working through it is the best that you've seen.
This is the most conflict we've ever put her in so far.
Okay.
She knew the expectation. It's just you
Right.
guys for the conflict.
You were the variable.
Right. Way of the expectation.
You were the variables.
Yes.
Right.
Right? So now we've worked her through this set of variables. And now you're going to see tomorrow when you come back, we're going to do it again. You're going to see where she's at. Then we're going to start with you, and then we'll end with you. Because we're going to loosen the pickle jar, and you're going to open it.
Okay.
Right? If we start with you, it's going to be worse than it was when we started with me. Right. And that's the thing.
I know that.
And it'll still probably be rough when you handle, but it'll be way less intense because she'll have worked through a couple layers with me and Bill, right? So that by the time she gets to you, you're handling a much calmer, relaxed dog. Questions, comments, concerns? That was art. That was beauty. Like I'm very happy with the way that ended.
Oh, I am too.
Like I said, I could.
I am too.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think I
glad
was
you saw it.
imagining it.
I'm
I
glad you
watched
saw
her work through it in her head and get to the right answer without having to enact option A, option B, option
Yep.
C.
Yep.
She went through them and went, fuck, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work. Okay, it must be this one.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
So now I have a question for y'all. You're very intelligent people. Like you guys are spot on, right? You've gone through other means of training, behaviorists, other trainers, right? Has anybody ever broken it down to you and explained it to you this way?
No.
And that's been the problem with the other trainers. You know, and again, as you saw, once she got comfortable after 2 weeks with you, you started to see the behaviors we see at home. A 2-week board and train,
Oh.
it's just an authoritative figure teaching obedience, whether it's using an e-collar or not. They never get her to a comfort level that, you know, they bring her out. Here's what stay is, or place, and when she's done, she goes back into the crate. And, you know, the handoff was all of 35 minutes.
Let me show you how to use e-collar. This is how I've conditioned her. And,
You know, nothing about, here's what the dog's thinking, here's what you're trying to correct or not, and they never saw the other behaviors, or if they did, they said they didn't, and never talked to us about any of that stuff.
Because that was the reason that we got a trainer, right? Initially, we did want her to go through some obedience. We did want to do that, but we were having issues with at 5 months old with aggression, resource guarding, and things like that. What can we do to work through that?
It was different resource guarding than what
Oh, yeah,
typically
it was-
comes to mind when you say resource guarding. She didn't give a shit about her food.
Oh yeah, you could stick your hand in her bowl. She didn't give a crap. What we were worried about was the inability to take dangerous things out of her mouth.
Right.
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 Which I later learned. You can't just go in and get it, because now it's a learned response. Oh, if you take that away from me, let me show you what's going to happen. And she just learned that. So now we're at a point where we can never go in and get something out of her mouth.
Well, you know what it is? It's this, right? It's possessiveness. So I'll show you a real world example, okay? So if I go to reach for my phone, do you care?
No.
If I go to reach for your
Oh shit.
Right. So in the moment when the bone, the bird, the pumpkin is in her mouth, it's hers. And you're coming to reach for her phone. And she's going, why the fuck are you touching my phone? Right? So it's not resource guarding in the typical sense, but it is possessiveness.
Yes, okay.
Right? And so dogs they're very possessive in nature, especially when it comes to resources they find valuable, right? Yes. Sometimes it's space, sometimes it's furniture, sometimes it's a person, a toy. And so for me, I want the dog to voluntarily give that up. And like in the eval, when I hooked her up to this and I told her out, she learned out in 3 reps. Now, does that mean that I can go apply it in a real world scenario? No, not after 3 reps. But after all these weeks of training, structure, rules, boundaries, teaching her who's the teacher, who's the student, when I tell her out, best believe she's gonna spit it out.
Even if it's a dead bird.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what it is. Nothing in this world is free. Everything you have is because of me.
Even if you find it on your walk.
Right. Well, and this is where permission-based movement kicks in. You want to do something, look at me. I'll tell you, yeah, go ahead, or no, do this instead. So ideally, when you're out walking and she sees something, she may look at it and then check in with you. And you go, no, heel. And now you don't even have to take it out of her mouth or tell her to out.
Right.
But 100% of the time that a dog doesn't listen, it's because they don't have to. And up until this point, Kalani hasn't had to listen to anybody.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
That's right.
Because nobody can make her listen.
That's right.
Well, here you have no other option.
Right.
Most people would have given up on a dog like this, but we're just getting started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the series. Part 3 airs next Friday.